afternoon, everybody. Thank you, McKeel. Thank you, Sogeti, also for having me here to talk about our transformation story. And I'll preface this by saying we haven't reached utopian state, obviously. In fact, I consider us early in our journey and really still trying to catch up, as a matter of fact. But I do believe we're getting well positioned to take advantage of changes and differences as society continues to change. So with that, again, hopefully some of you or most of you have heard of us or even familiar with us, maybe even shopped our stores. Dick's Sporting Goods, just a quick story about who we are, was founded in central New York back in 1948 by a guy named Dick Stack. Dick's there on your right. Dick was working in a five and dime store, and the store owner wanted to get into the bait and tackle business. So Dick was an avid fisherman. He went home, made a list of everything someone would need to fish in the local rivers, came back and presented it to the store owner. The store owner rejected him and basically called him a dumb kid. So he was frustrated by the experience, went home and began to tell his grandmother about it. His grandmother was moved by his passion, went over to her cookie jar, got $300 out of her jar, and gave it to Dick and said, "Go follow your dream." So with that, Dick's Sporting Goods was born as a bait and tackle store. So that entrepreneurial spirit still lives with us today. Dick's son, Ed, is now our CEO, and he's built the company to a little over $8 billion industry leader. It's a great story. We're founded on the same cultural values and benefits. We invest in what's right, we treat our people good, and we focus on our customers that we now call athletes. But as everybody knows, retail in the world has changed, right? So it's not all about brick and mortar. Retail isn't anymore. Modern retailers need to blend and merge all channels. So we embarked on this strategy on maybe 10 years or so ago, but in that time frame, the athlete ecosystem is also evolving. Right? So digital presence, stimulus is everywhere. It's omnipresent, it's ubiquitous. So we have to take that into account. And a single purchase is very rarely a transactional thing done at one location anymore. Athletes are always on. So these purchase journeys really last over many channels and many touch points. So we had to change. And so I said our journey really started 10 years ago. It really took a spike upwards about a little over 4 years ago when we decided to insource our e-commerce platform. It had been outsourced for many years, but for control reasons and profitability, obviously, we brought it back in-house. But when we did so, we had to retrofit it into a lot of legacy systems. So it created a whole new set of challenges and complexities that you see listed here. It was something we had to deal with. But we were up to the task. So more recently, and this is really the essence of our transformation story, just over the past 2 years, we've really changed the way we work. Shifting our approach from projects to products. And in this context, a product is things like okay, so they're domains of needs and responsibilities. So we've also moved from proprietary technology stacks, both hardware and software, to more of an open source architecture, microservice-based, cloud native. So everything that's creating us a nimble and flexible environment to work in. Relentless focus on economic outcomes. I had a brief discussion with some people over lunch today that this topic came up. So everything we're doing now is based on economic outcomes. It starts with the question, what problem are we trying to solve? So how is this going to benefit the athlete or the teammate, the internal facing resources? So we started fast feedback loops. These product teams, and they're for all intents and purposes, they're two pizza teams. So they're no bigger than 12 or 14 people max that could feed on two pizzas. And the business operational units are right there sitting at the same tables literally side by side with the technologists. It consists of 3 primary roles. Product managers are responsible for the profitability of the idea. Designers make it human friendly, and then engineers make it work. And then the business folks are either part of one of those roles or separately sitting next to those people. And then we automate everything. So this isn't really about the technology. In fact, we want to remove the technology from the equation so that we can focus on business value. So it ends up creating happy humans. Again, I mentioned athletes and teammates. Meaningful technology, nimble, scalable, flexible architecture, so that when we need to make a move, we need to make a change, we can go in there and do it very seamlessly, and the integrations are easy to the legacy systems or the other new systems we're working on. And in economic value, I kind of covered that already. You know, it's all about kind of what's the biggest value you can work on. Let's focus there first. Let's iterate, get a small product out, and then build up upon it from there. So metrics of success. These are a bit dated. They're from earlier this year, but I'll point to a few. So 31 product teams. We're actually up to about 40 product teams now, all focused on those different domains I mentioned earlier. Since we started this, our CSAT score, customer satisfaction, is up 350 basis points. So we believe it's working. 6 weeks to an MVP. Whoops, sorry. It only takes us 6 weeks to get out of the gate. Once we stand up a team and we can actually identify the problem we're going to try to solve and pick a solution, we've been fortunate enough to be able to move rather quickly. And then some of this other things like the modern engineering practices and faster load times, relentless refactoring, relying on the platform to do most of the technology back end, and it creates a whole lot of flexibility. I also want to mention these other technology metrics. Test code coverage, we used test-driven development techniques. Paired programming adds to that fast feedback loops so that you have somebody sitting right next to you saying, hey, why are you doing it that way, or you misspelled something. And we find out that issue way earlier in the process than we ever did before. It minimizes waste and toil. So my playbook, or at least a few ideas to think of, every organization is going to be different. Find the influencers in your organization. Some of this thought process is relatively new. You need people that are open-minded. We call it a beginner's mindset. You really have to forget about what you think you know and rely on evidence. Evidence trumps opinion, right? I don't know everything. I don't need to know everything. I need the technology and the results of our actions to tell me. The platform, again, we use Pivotal Cloud Foundry, but you can make your own choices. It really takes a lot out of the hands of the development teams. Our infrastructure organizations are much smaller, so now the people are more focused on delivering that business value. And finally, failure is part of the process. It's okay, all right? We don't tar and feather somebody when they make a mistake. We accept it, move on. We made a bad decision or otherwise. So lastly, I'd like to can't leave here without a plug for Sports Matter. Sports Matter started because billions of dollars of funding has been removed from youth sports programs over the past several years. Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation started the Sports Matter program because we believe sports make people better. It builds character, it creates confidence, kids do better in school, and they aim for a higher education. Okay? It really makes a big difference, and it certainly worked out for our CEO, Ed. It's in the catcher's gear there. So, and then lastly, we did just recently publish a new common purpose that we're ingraining in our culture. It basically states that we create confidence and excitement by personally equipping all athletes to achieve their dreams. So hopefully this fits in with the theme of the program and basically aligns with the future society. So with that, thank you.